Sometimes when this place gets kind of empty, sound of their breath fades with the light.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Dark's Uptake. Our subject today, our topic today, was suggested by our viewer Devina, who is also one of the writers over on my Dark Globe blog. She follows the New York Times Twitter, and she saw a tweet about it was titled "Exer Games Don't Cure Young Couch Potatoes." So the subject is basically, I guess, what they were hoping by creating these video games that you actually exercise during the video game. I guess one of them, I don't know if it was a marketing technique or if they actually were trying to do this, the companies, but they were trying to, say, hey parents, we got a video game where the kids are active while they play, because one of the concerns I think with video games has always been that kids aren't physically active enough these days anymore, like they used to be before video games were as prominent. So I guess from what I'm seeing here is they were hoping that this new came out, I guess, like 6 years ago. This one I think it was a Nintendo Wii console. Anyway, yes, this arrived 6 years ago. That's when Nintendo Wii games console, which arrived in the United States 6 years ago, was such an exciting prospect. It offered the chance for children to get exercise without even leaving the house. Okay. Anyway, apparently, from what I can see, I just kind of brushed over this article. Apparently, what they found is that it didn't increase the activity of the children. That people would basically, they'd have less activity the rest of the day when they included this higher activity in the day, or something like that. From what I just kind of went over it. But it really kind of hit on, I'm kind of going from taking that subject and kind of taking it a little further into an area that I've actually had thought about. And that is that, in my opinion, and I'm not a parent, but my brother has 2 boys. They're like 11 and 14, and there's been periods where they just, you can't pull them off the machines, and I've noticed something with parents. When years ago it used to be that sometimes parents would put kids in front of the TV as a babysitter. A lot of times it had to do with either as a single parent, or it's just that kids had a lot of energy and it's hard to entertain them constantly. Or they're a single child, or they don't have friends. There's all kinds of. It's all very unique, whatever the situation happens to be. But when video games really got big, and I know my brother was having some issues with his kids about it, different aspects. Like I said, I'm not a parent, but in my opinion, if I was a parent, and this might, kids may not like this, in my opinion, I don't think I would allow video games to be played during the day. That is kind of what I always have come up with. Because if they can't play video games, they're not allowed to play during the day. They're going to find something to do. And I maybe it will or maybe it won't induce more outside play. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a parent, but taking them to the park might help. I don't know. But really, as a parent, I don't think I would want a kid indoors playing a video game. I'm not trying to be a strict guy here. I know during the week it's hard when they've got school and homework. During the week at nights there isn't necessarily a great amount of time for kids to be able to do it then. But during the day they're at school anyway, right? But I probably would allow them anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, as long as their homework's done or something like that. But even then, I don't know that I would allow it every night. And then during the weekend is where the daytime thing is. Like I said, I wouldn't allow video games to be played during the day, maybe up to like 6 p.m., 5 p.m. And granted, if they've got kids sleeping over, or whatever, I suppose there could be some kind of an exception where you let them play an hour. But I wouldn't, even if they've got friends sleeping over, they could play, they could have dinner and play video games for an hour and a half. Maybe even 2 hours, depending. If they're going to be watching a movie anyway, it's give or take. But that's kind of always been the way I've thought of it. I really don't think video games should be played during the day. I mean, unless you're an adult, then it's it's your world. But I think that kids might play more outside if it's not even an option. It's not a matter of them convincing dad to let them do it this time, or if it's not even an option that they play before 5 or 6 in the day at any point, even during the summer. Same thing. I still wouldn't let the video games happen till later in the day, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just the way I would do it, because I realize it's a changing world. It's a changed world, and the technologies and electronics and iPads and iPods and computer games and everything is and cell phones, and there's just this. It's a huge part of who we are now, and I'm cool with that, and I actually enjoy a lot of it. But being a kid who played outside, now when I was a kid, I actually played inside a lot, action figures, but I also played outside, and generally like on the weekends I would go play outside with friends. So action figures, sometimes I play during the day. But still being plugged into something, and then that kind of goes for TV too, to a degree. I mean, I don't know how much TV I would let kids watch during the day either, and I know that can be tough too. But video games are different than TV too. That's a subject for another time, the TV thing. Anyway, that's my take on it. I'd love to hear your feedback. It can be in the comments section. I will put the link to the article down below because it's interesting. I will also put a link to the Twitter of New York Times. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say in comments, or you can do a video back to me, and I'll either you can put the link in my comment, or maybe I'll put it up on the site or whatever. But I'll definitely put it up on the site, whether it's in comments or its own posts. So yeah, love to hear what you think.